Well, Joe, you look at this right now, and if you're Pete Carroll, we know how he likes to play it close to the vest. You know, they're very conservative offensively. They want to pound the football, and where they're at right now in this first half, he's got to be awfully happy about this, and he doesn't want to take any chances here to end this first half that could change the momentum that they have.
It's 3rd down and 5. Denver is content to walk away down 22-0 and not use one of their last 2 timeouts. Last team shut out in the first half. The Giants, Super Bowl 35 against Baltimore. They trailed 10-0. Kick return for 58 yards in his 1 regular season game against his former team, the Vikings, and they just pop it up. Good kick by Prater on a hop. It's Harvin, but now he takes off, and Percy Harvin gets free. Percy Harvin inside the 30. He's going to go. Touchdown, Seattle.
Harvin to return this ball, and it's just terrible play by the special teams of the Denver Broncos in coverage. They had a number of guys with an opportunity to make a play on Percy Harvin before he got going, and once he did, there's nobody on this field. 21 other guys, nobody can run like Percy Harvin.
Hip surgery in August. He missed the championship game with a concussion. He's played in only 2 previous games this season, and he has had an impact. A short pop-up kick.
Seahawks team went into the locker room the same way they came out, enthusiastically. You heard a lot of guys talking about do not let up. I talked to Pete Carroll about how he counseled the team in that area. He said, we talked about finishing. Disrupting Peyton Manning, he said, has nothing to do with it. We have to keep in finish mode. Back to you.
2nd down and 10. Thanks, Pam. Pass is caught. That's Welker, and a 1st down.
It's pretty remarkable, Joe. You look at this defensive play here, and still 29-point lead, and they're still playing single safety high, man-to-man on the outside, press coverage. The Denver Broncos did not have a 20-yard play in the first half of this game. They were 2nd in the NFL through the regular season with big plays. And this Seattle defense doesn't give many of them up. They didn't give any up in the first half of the game.
Manning throws and nearly picked by Richard Sherman. Not on the same page. Decker was the nearest receiver to it. 2nd and 10.
Well, just a miscommunication there with Eric Decker and Peyton Manning. There's the opposite side. Byron Maxwell getting physical with Julius Thomas. And, you know, I thought Peyton Manning in that AFC Championship game put on an absolute clinic, but the execution is going to be required of them to get back in this game is going to be unlike they've done all year long.
For Peyton Manning, the largest comeback of his career, 24 points, which came at San Diego last year in October. Out to his right, throws across the field, dangerous throw. KJ Wright was there to make the hit on O'Shawn Moreno, a gain of 6. And Moreno's slow to get up, so they stop the clock. 3rd down coming up after this throw back across the field. Wagner and KJ Wright combined to make the hit.
And the left leg got rolled up, the ankle. The good news is Montee Ball, they trust him in every situation. O'Shawn Moreno a better blocker, pass protector. But Montee Ball's not bad.
had the first one to Welker, this one to Decker for the 2 first downs on this possession, a completion of 6 yards.
It's the first throw they've even attempted against Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman came into this game having been thrown at just 3 times this postseason.
About to fall asleep over there.
Pass is caught. Wide receiver screen. Demaryius Thomas with a couple of blockers in front of him, good for 4.
Some tells you that's not true. You know, Richard Sherman, as we found out, he's a different guy when he hits the field, and we've got a Bronco down.
It's a Seahawk, actually, and it's Sherman.
Today's game is sponsored by Budweiser, who reminds fans to always designate a driver.
We welcome you back to Super Bowl 48 on Fox, America's most watched network for the NFL, along with our producer Richie Zients, our director Rich Russo, and there's Jeremy Lane.
He came in and expect Peyton Manning to go after him. He's well aware of who's coming in these type situations with an injury.
Lane in there in place of Richard Sherman. Pass is caught by Thomas underneath. Demaryius Thomas brought down by K.J. Wright, a gain of 3.
It's the second time. We saw it in the first half as well. Demaryius Thomas catches this ball. He's close to the first down. He's got to get going up the field and understand that he has to pick up the first down.
3rd down and 3. Bryant came across, and that could be a first down and will be.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 79. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It was 3rd down and 3. Red Bryant tried to get a jump. Meanwhile, Britton Colquitt, the punter for the Denver Broncos, he may as well go home. Down 29-0. You just get the feeling, unless they're pinned back, it's 4-down territory almost no matter where they are, with Peyton Manning on the field.
Came into this game with just one postseason punt, and the reason you state for obviously different reasons.
On first down to the end zone. Thomas downfield, incomplete. Richard Sherman gets up looking for the flag against Thomas.
That's one of those throws. I asked Peyton, would you be willing to take a shot down the field on Richard Sherman, because we know how good he is and what great ball skills he has. He plays this beautifully. Peyton never had an opportunity to complete this pass, but what he did say was, if I go after him on the go route, I'm going to make sure that if I err deep, because I don't want him to have a chance to make a play on the ball. I think that one, more than anything, was just trying to back these guys off a little bit.
2nd and 10. Manning protected, pass broken up. Welker the intended target, and there's big Cam Chancellor. And the big body of Chancellor at 6'3", 232 on Welker, 5'9", 185.
Well, look what he does. He carries the guy up the seam. He's right in the middle of your screen. He's carrying Julius Thomas. He sees the route underneath. He comes off and puts a hit and jars the ball loose on Wes Welker. And that's what I mean. These guys see everything out there.
On 3rd down, the handoff is to Ball, and Monte Ball bottled up. First guy there was K.J. Wright. A loss of 1. And on 4th down, Peyton Manning's going to have to come off the field. So thankfully for Denver, Colquitt is still in the stadium.
Yeah, I think this is the right decision, Joe. When you look at 4th and long and the odds, you don't want to give the ball to Seattle with this kind of field position. You know, the defense, as I said, they've not been able to stop them through the first half.
So Colquitt waits for the snap from Aaron Brewer. Trying to pin it down inside the 20. Fair catch called in by Golden Tate inside the 10. They have won in all 3. Seahawks celebrations up 29-0. The ball is spotted at the 8. Russell Wilson back to the field, and Russell Wilson, who was told all his life he wasn't big enough, the arm wasn't strong enough, he wasn't fast enough. As his team in the Super Bowl in his second year in the NFL. Hand off to Lynch, cuts back, and Marshawn Lynch, his best of the day, out across the 25. Brought down by Adams after a run of 18 yards.
Well, Denver, because of the situation right now, they have to play defensively a little differently than they'd really like to. So they stack the line. They're anticipating Marshawn Lynch. But what happens a lot of times then when you've got everybody stacked at the line of scrimmage, if you get beyond that first wave, there's a lot of open field. So an outstanding job by the offensive line creating a lane, and Marshawn Lynch finding it.
Lynch had 11 carries for 17 yards before that 18-yard run. And a nice play, Trevathan. Those two came face to face. No gain.
Well, Russell Wilson came out, as did the rest of this offense, expecting to have the ball to start this second half. And then you get the big return by Percy Harvin. And while Denver had the ball, Russell Wilson had to come back over here on the sidelines and loosen his arm up again.
He's not a tall guy. He's listed at 5'11". He's got a very strong arm. Can really spin it. On second down, play action as Wilson is going to take off. Flag flies. Penalty flag is down as Russell Wilson hops out of bounds. And it's against Seattle on a hold.
Holding offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Russell Okung was guilty of the hold to erase a 22-yard run by Wilson.
Yeah, they had a shot down the field, so they go play action, and Golden Tate runs a great route. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie is slow reacting, so Russell Wilson wants to take the shot. I think he just didn't trust he had enough arm to get it all the way out there, and wouldn't have much mattered because Russell Okung, he gets called for the hold.
He threw Sean Phillips to the ground to bring up second down and 20. Turbin is in the ball game, and he gets it. Robert Turbin right up the middle for 3. Learn more about the newest way to follow your favorite teams and players. NFL Now will deliver your personalized video whenever, wherever you want it. Sign up at NFL.com/now. Carry by Robert Turbin brings up third down and 17, and there's the play selection called by offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. Percy Harvin, 4 touches, 137 yards, and a touchdown. Pass is caught. Well played by Denver, and that's exactly what they needed as Golden Tate picked up nothing. Woodyard was out there, the middle linebacker for the Broncos.
Smart call by Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, as you see Woodyard come over and put a hit on him. I really expected them to just hand the ball off and say, hey, you know, we're not going to pick up this first down. We can run down more time off the clock, play to our defense. They're playing outstanding. They ran the quick throw, and they complete it, and they keep the clock running.
Both Trendon Holiday and Eric Decker are back. Line drive punt. Nice pickup by Decker on that short hop to the 45. What, you got some over there?
Short hop. You didn't say that since October.
I know. It was. Aerial coverage provided by Bud Light. Seahawks defense back on the field here at MetLife Stadium. There's John Elway, who is the Executive Vice President of Football Operations. Won back-to-back Super Bowls. First time in 15 years they've been here. Here's Montee Ball. They're still working on the back of Knowshon Moreno, who left the last time the Broncos had it, a gain of 1. There's under 7 minutes to play here, and the Denver Broncos have got to start going down the field.
Yeah, they got to, you do the math, Joe. They need 4 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions, and not a lot of time to accomplish that. They've got to start getting the ball down the field and trying to pick up a lot of yardage in chunks, which is hard to do against his defense.
2nd and 9. It's Demaryius Thomas, who is going to be good for a first down. Let's take you down to Erin Andrews.
Joe, just an update on Knowshon Moreno. He spent time on and off the training table here. Athletic trainers working on that left side of his back, trying to loosen him up. He's been trying to stretch over here on the sidelines. And as Troy noted, Peyton Manning telling us they wanted to get him involved in this offense.
First down, Denver. From the 44, Manning protected, pass, caught, Demaryius Thomas, ball out, picked up by Seattle, recovered by Malcolm Smith after it was knocked out by Maxwell. And a flag comes down at the end of the play. And Malcolm Smith has tucked away a souvenir. He's already got an interception return for a touchdown for 69 yards, and now a fumble recovery.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Passing team, number 74. 15-yard penalty, headbutt, first down, timeout.
Maxwell just punched the ball out of the left arm of Demaryius Thomas. And it's the 3rd turnover for the Denver Broncos. Seattle takes it. There is U.S. Army First Lieutenant Chuck Nadd from Winter Park, Florida, here at Super Bowl 48. 3rd turnover of the game. Seattle has not turned it over, and that's something Russell Wilson has done since he took over as the starter. He protects the football. Starting at their own 42. Here's Lynch. Lynch ran into a number of Bronco players, including Robert Ayers, a gain of 3.
I really thought, Joe, coming into this game that the passing game and Russell Wilson, they were going to, was going to have to get more out of it than what we've seen. And you know what, the game has gone really according to script for Pete Carroll. The way that they've won throughout this year, just playing solid defense, creating the takeaways as we saw, giving the offense great field position, scoring defensively. This is exactly what Pete Carroll was hoping for when we talked to him on Thursday.
On 2nd and 7. Pass dropped by Wilson. Had it. Was left alone. Dropped it. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie was out there, but that's just a drop by Luke Wilson, who caught 20 passes during the regular season. Now 3rd down and 7. You saw Pete Carroll. Troy, you mentioned him in his 4th year as head coach. He is the 2nd oldest head coach in the NFL, and you just wouldn't know that by looking at him. Totally energetic, bouncing around on the sideline, and this team takes their cue from him.
There's no doubt. I mean, he's enthusiastic. You watch him at practice. He's running around. He's bouncing around to the music, just like the rest of his team is.
3rd down and 7. Wilson. This time, Wilson hangs on and a first down. From Wilson to Wilson. And a 12-yard catch and run for the rookie tight end. And a first down for the Seattle Seahawks, as we've got just over 5 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Well, you see, there just has not been much pressure on Russell Wilson. Early, he was able to get outside the pocket. But throughout the year, for a team that doesn't throw the ball more than Seattle does, they gave up a lot of sacks, and he's had to run around a lot. Think back to the NFC Championship game. It looked like Fran Tarkenton back there, but not the case here today. They've done a nice job protecting him.
Here's Lynch. Little delay, doesn't go down easily. A gain of just a yard. Nate Irving on the stop. Check out Fox Sports Go for Super Bowl live streaming on your desktop and tablet. No special sign-in today. Download and find more at foxsportsgo.com. Second down for Seattle. Coming up on 4 minutes left, third quarter, 29-0 for the Seahawks in search of their first championship. Wilson to put it up. Slings it. Pass to Lockett. And Ricardo Lockett. Good for 19.
How about that throw by Russell Wilson? He gets great protection once again. Lockett with man coverage. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie right in his hip. And a perfectly thrown ball. Off of play action. Get the linebackers up. That's an outstanding job by Russell Wilson.
We saw Wilson miss on that first throw to a wide open tight end, Zach Miller, and I said it, you said it. Obviously, he jumped well. He's nervous. Well, after that, he's been locked in. They've used the ground game a bit. He's been able to get out of the pocket. He's hit 7 different receivers, and now Curse. What a catch! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Jermaine Curse.
He just runs a simple slant route, and about 5 guys completely miss in trying to get Curse to the ground. You'd like to maybe think that they're trying to knock the ball loose instead of making a play on the ball carrier, but Duke Iheanacho comes in and just drops his head. It's just terrible defense.
You saw that shot of John Schneider after the touchdown, and we need to talk about the general manager. Talk about depth for the Seattle Seahawks. Jermaine Curse was a free agent, played collegiately at Washington, but they've got 5th, 6th, 7th round draft picks all over their roster. Street free agents, unrestricted free agents brought in, adding to the defense up front. 36-0 under 3 minutes left, third quarter, and Holiday won't get a chance to return it. We'll give you a little review of some of the miscues that have happened in this game, and it happened on the first snap.
It's continued throughout this ball game, Joe, and it's interesting because, as we know, the Denver Broncos, especially offensively, I mean, they pride themselves, Peyton Manning, in their ability to execute, especially at the line of scrimmage, and yet they kick this game off with a miscommunication at the line, the safety, and nothing has gone right for this team.
Is caught. A flag is thrown. Monte Ball was hit by Cam Chancellor.
Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's a left tackle, Chris Clark. Seattle has scored in this game with a touchdown pass, a touchdown run, interception return, a kickoff return for a touchdown, a field goal, and a safety. Any way you can put up points, they've done it.
They've won every phase of this football game. You know, they've won at every position in this football game. I can't think of one Denver Bronco offensively or defensively that's won his matchup.
Here's Welker, who gets popped by K.J. Wright. This is as physical a defense as exists in the NFL.
Yeah, and I know these two teams met back in the preseason, Joe, back in August, and Seattle routed them in that game. It was at Seattle, and You know, you say, okay, and it's preseason, and yeah, we did play more than we normally would, but you just can't prepare for the physical play of this defense and the speed in which they play it at.
2 minutes left, third quarter. Pass caught by Julius Thomas. Thomas crosses the 20. Brought down by Chancellor, a gain of 8. Meanwhile, this Seattle defense, they're playing their second game in this stadium this year. They have yet to give up a point. They shut out the Giants here week 15, 23-0. That was against Eli. Now it's against him. Peyton. 3rd and 9. Pass is incomplete, but flags are thrown. Demaryius Thomas, face guarded by Byron Maxwell.
Yeah, this is the right call. Byron Maxwell right there. He's got his arm on him, and
Pass interference.
ball's underthrown. He's
Defense
trying to come
number
back and make a
41.
play. So they finally
Automatic
get
first down.
the penalty, which allows them to get the first down. And Joe, you talk about John Schneider and the job that he's done assembling this team. Normally those middle to late round guys they're more role players. You know, the guys that he's picked up in the 5th and 6th round, they're all pro players. I mean, it is amazing the turnover since he took over and the job that he has done putting this team together.
Pass is caught by Welker, who's got a first down. Maxwell is a 6th round pick. Welker gets 12. And they really built this defense from the back end forward with these big corners on the outside and a great tandem with big and smaller at safety. First down, Denver. There's Welker's day in your Fox box, 6 catches. Pass is caught by Tammy. And the tight end has another first down.
Yeah, you talk about that, Joe, and John Schneider was with the Green Bay Packers, and they had smaller corners during his tenure there, and he knew when he got an opportunity to pick his guys, he wanted big corners, and that's what he has brought in here. And that's what he looks for, and then he lets Pete Carroll and that staff coach them up and turn them into the playmakers that they are.
On first down. Manning, he's got Welker, and Wes Welker is out of bounds just inside the 15 at the 14-yard line, a gain of 22.
That's the one area of the field that we've seen Denver have some opportunities. The first interception in the game when Cam Chancellor got it on an errant throw, but that middle seam throw, that dagger deep across the field, they've had chances. That's the same throw they hit Demaryius Thomas on when the ball got knocked out by Maxwell.
2 seconds left in the quarter. Pass is caught for the touchdown. Demaryius Thomas. Still playing with a tremendous catch for the first points of this game for the Denver Broncos.
It looked like Byron Maxwell might have even tackled Thomas before the ball got there. I thought there should have been a flag, but it didn't matter. He's able to bring it in. A ball well thrown by Manning. And now here's the first of many 2-point conversions that are required.
Yeah, if they get the opportunity, the touchdown to Thomas, who had 14 touchdown receptions during the regular season to lead the AFC. 2-point try. They only attempted one of these during the regular season. One so far in the postseason.